Perception is generally far from reality, so things are usually not as they seem. The sooner that you can realize the truth of the situation, the sooner you can make the right decisions. So what I mean by all this, I'll walk into it. 2 weeks ago, I was planning on going up to Vermont for the Vermont City Marathon. Now, I've planned out one marathon every single week this entire year of 2024. And so every weekend I have to make that marathon in order to be able to run all 50 states this year. And so going to Vermont was a huge deal. If I missed it, I would mess up the challenge pretty heavily. Anyways, I'm getting prepared to go down, I'm eating my pasta, and I realize, holy cow, I only have 2.5 hours until my flight takes off, and I haven't left. Now, I live about an hour to the airport, and usually traffic or finding a place to park, whatever it is, doors close 15 minutes before. 3 hours is safe, still kind of stretching it. 2.5 hours is close. I ended up leaving when there was only 2 hours until my flight took off. So I get there, and as I'm driving into the airport, trying to find parking, I'm going to the international parking just to see if, that would be a better solution than just going to the regular parking that has no spots ever, because Atlanta Airport is just wild. So much traffic, so many parking spaces that are just full for weeks on end. I don't know how they always stay full, but anyways, as I'm driving into the airport, there's a full-on monsoon, and I don't know how it happened just out of nowhere, but there was this full-on monsoon. The downpour was insane. I was driving about 15 miles an hour and through the back roads of the airport. I missed a turn. I'm I can't do this. I have to get to this flight. Looking down at the clock, and I've got 45 minutes, and I'm there's no way I'm gonna get through security and then run through the air train to get up to the gate on time. So anyways, I finally get parked, and the lady who lets me in, thank you so much, I don't know your name, but really nice lady, she's you've driven all this way, I'll let you in. The parking lot was full. I didn't have a registration or a reservation, so she wasn't supposed to let me in, but she's I can let you in, darling, come on in. And I was oh, thank you so much. So anyways, get in, hop on the bus, get over to the airport, go through security. It takes forever. I'm I got 20 minutes, and I know the doors are going to close 15 minutes before the flight takes off, and I'm 10 minutes away from the thing, so I'm running through the airport. I'm literally sprinting up there. And by the time I get to the gate, the very end of the gate, gates D1 to 100, they split it down the middle at 50 or whatever it is, and then you have to run basically from there all the way to the end. In Spirit, because I'm taking all the cheap flights to all these marathons to save money, of course my flight is on the very end of the terminal. So I finally sprint there, and I'm exhausted, I'm sweating. I see this massive crowd of people, right? So this whole time, for the past 2 hours, I was anxious that I was going to miss my flight, and just rushing and probably going a little bit too fast during the in traffic, and trying to find any parking spot possible, even if it cost me a bunch of extra money. And I was living in the last moment instead of doing the correct preparation that would have allowed me to have that peace of mind, right? And then the reality of the situation was that our flight got delayed, because the monsoon was happening. Flights got delayed. I ended up leaving 2.5 hours later. 2.5 hours after we were supposed to leave. And so, the lesson there is that always try to understand what's the reality of the situation. For a business, what are the metrics that I need to pay attention to? Do we have appropriate cash flow? I don't know what business terms exist, but one day when I need, when I have an organization that's big enough that would merit spending time learning those things, I'll learn them. But I will always, every morning when I have a big enough organization, 15 people, let's say, maybe even 10 or 5 employees working for me, I'll always start the day out looking at the metrics. That way I know exactly what decisions I should make, or exactly how I should make decisions based on the information that I have. Should I spend my time in this area of the business or over here? All these different things come from understanding what is the reality of the situation. For the airport example, if I knew that the flight got delayed because of the monsoon, then I could have, driven to a nice parking lot that would cost $5 instead of $20 a day, and taking my time and not rushed and walked through the airport instead of sprinting, and all these different things. It's this cascading effect. So the first thing is that put the proper preparation in so that you never really have to worry about timing, because then you can expect better results. If I put the reservation in and I checked my bag before and checked in for the boarding pass, like if I did all these things before, if I did the proper preparation, it just takes 5 minutes. Then when I'm there, I don't have 30 minutes of trying to pull everything together in uncertainty, right? So how soon can I make a decision or take an action to move me towards a better situation of certainty for the near future? And then on top of that, how can I understand the situation better so that I know how to make decisions better? What is the true situation? What is the reality of the situation? What metrics should I be trying to stay on top of? And usually people look at the outside metrics. How many views am I getting on this video? There's this whole thing of like, look on the inside metrics. So, okay, let's relate this back to an area of my life. I would understand, or I would say that the marathons are doing healthy. The whole marathon challenge is healthy if 3 TikToks, 3 to 7, are getting out every single week, and 1 YouTube video. That would be the healthy conditions. The input is that I'm able to post those videos, or that's the output, whatever the input is. If that's the proper output. Doesn't matter how many views they get, as long as I'm posting those videos, that is a healthy situation, right? Those would be the metrics in that scenario. And then from there, I can gauge where I need to spend my time. If I'm right now, since money is such a big issue, I literally have $22 or something like that in my bank account. I would make decisions different than in the future. But let's say I had the money to pay an editor versus to pay for another video. If I had all this mountain of footage that I hadn't posted yet, which usually is going to be the case, it's much easier to film a video than it is to post, then instead of spending money on filming another video, I would spend the money on paying an editor to get the video out that I've already done. This is a guarantee over here. Spending money on the thing that's not guaranteed usually is not the best idea, because it's up in the air. You're risking that money, that time, whatever it is. And as a founder, you want to put your time towards the risky side of things and not someone else. You want to pay someone to do the secure things. That way, this 10 hours of payroll that's going towards editing these videos will result in a video getting posted. And I know that the footage was good when I filmed it, and that the idea was good, and that the structure is set up. So it's pretty cut and dry to pay someone to do this versus to go out there and test a new product, or try out a new style of video, or I don't know, whatever risk you could take as a social media founder. Those things you do as the founder, and you don't pay someone to do them because you could be throwing money away. Yeah, so then ultimately, how soon can you understand the reality of the situation to make more informed decisions? And then on top of that, what metrics do you need to know to make better, more informed decisions? That's it. I have another one about a tree that I'm about to talk about, so listen in for the tree. One of those.